So the story has changed so far for good. And as I said, imparting these young people, their parents are becoming more happier because we are doing everything for free. It's a community that is that people hardly have enough to spare on their children's education. So we are coming in to provide something that is quite expensive to get for them to be able to just do what they can do, develop themselves, and at the end of the day become better off, and also look the world in the face to begin to compete at global level. So that has touched parents, that has touched even the young people. You see them when they close from school, they still rush back to the center to continue their studies. That tells that they have actually seen a change in themselves as to what they've been doing.
Hello guys, welcome once again to Bitcoiner podcast. Today will be a very interesting episode, you probably know that there's around the world good efforts to build Bitcoin circular economy. Of course, we have one in the Bitcoin beach, but it's not just about El Salvador, it's not just about South America. Bitcoin is for everyone, right? So today we're going to find out more about these communities and these efforts that they are doing to help people to have the opportunities to actually develop in a system that actually give the opportunity to do it, because we know that the fiat system don't always allow that. Yeah, so today we're going to talk with Mawufemor. He's the founder of Bitcoin Duat. So welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Mawufemor Kofi Polibi. I'm a social entrepreneur, and I've been in this for the past over 20 years. And I've been working on youth development at various fronts. So I have an NGO, or a non-governmental organization, called Talent Tahoe Foundation. And this is what I've been doing for long, working on the youth development. It's been difficult, but we've been doing it because it's something that I do with passion. Yeah. So simply, that's what I can say about myself as a short profile.
That's awesome. That's cool. Do you hear me better now? I think I will have the microphone like this.
Yes,
maybe it's better.
Better now.
All right. So how did you end up down the Bitcoin rabbit hole?
Okay. Thank you very much. I had a friend who is called Prince Akbar. He works with African Bitcoin conference organizers, and he's a PRO in the year 2022. So he has always been part of my organizational work with my non-governmental organization. And when the Bitcoin conference came, he gave me an invite to come, and that was 2022 in Kempinski, Accra. So I went. When I went, I saw the Jack Dorsey, and he asked me to go and take picture with him. Then after that, the second day, he asked me to speak to Herman Weber of Bitcoin Legacy. So I did walk to Herman. I said, introduce myself to him with my name and what I do with my organization and the organization's name. So I first sent him our website for him to see something about us. He was a bit impressed to even hear that I'm a social entrepreneur person working with young people and enlightening community on what we should all do to progress. So he gave me a task to really have something to do with Bitcoin and do a recording and send to him to see whether I can do something with Bitcoin. So I did come. We do have a training session, aerobic session every morning as a group of 7 people. So there, he gave me some sats. I introduced the sat to the people because I had a sat myself, and I tried to buy phone credit with it, and I was able to get it done. And you can use it for a normal call. That is from a bit refill. So I got them. I also shared a sat with them to also have some same experience, and they realized it is something that can work. If I can have Bitcoin, and at the end of the day, I can use it in my locality to buy credit to make phone calls, then it means it is something that they can actually relate with. So they were much impressed with the Bitcoin because it has empowered them to at least be able to buy credit to make phone calls to continue their business transactions. So after that, I also tried to convince a merchant or somebody that was selling food stuff in our area. I went to buy food and I asked her that, okay, I have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money. You can actually convert it into our local currency if you have it. Initially, she hesitated, but I demonstrated. I actually installed Blink. By then, no, not Blink. I installed a wallet of Satoshi for her. Then gave her some tip. Then I also went ahead to buy food as I opened the account for her, and I paid more than what I bought from her. So when I paid that, she said she wanted to go to market to buy raw materials to come and prepare food for sale. Then I installed BitSnap for her and showed her how she can withdraw the money into fiat to use, because that is the end use of the local person, and if they cannot see that part of it, it means acceptability becomes a problem. So once she's able to withdraw that money, go to the local market and purchase things that she's coming to use for her business, she was enthused and she was comfortable with Bitcoin acceptance. And since then, she was the first merchant doing that. And now we've had a good number, like 16 and counting, that are accepting Bitcoin fully in our community.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's how you start, right?
Yeah, that's how I started.
That's amazing. So, before recording, we were talking about maybe we can talk a bit about the context of the economy of Africa, because recently in the podcast we have been talking about how Bitcoin can help to the global south to develop and to fight, because at the end of the day, I have seen that mostly the entire world we face the same issues, but with different impact or magnitude. What I mean by that is like, there's hyperinflation, there's poverty, there's corruption, and we all have it in all places. But I think it will be valuable for the audience to know about that in the context of Africa, and maybe if you can share what are the big systemic issues affecting Africa for now.
Okay. Thank you very much on that. In our Africa setting, when it comes to our economy, we hardly produce. So what we do mostly is our local stuffs, artifacts and all those things that we produce. But it is very difficult to actually export them. Because of that, we import most of the things that we do from the Western world. And as we do so, it affects our balance of trade because we do not export more. So therefore, that comes in a way that devalue our currency to the extent that at every single day, you buy something from the market today, you come back tomorrow, you see a different price. So there's no stability in our pricing, and that affects even a business startup. That's maybe a young man or a woman gets his or her money to a business, buy stuff to come and sell. After your work, things that the stuff that you bought and sold them got finished, you want to use that money to go and buy another stuff to come to restore to reinstall your to restock your store. Then you realize you can't even buy the same quantity, even with the profit that you made, or that you can't buy the same quantity that you even bought earlier to buy to come and sell. That has become so difficult for a young man doing business that when you start, it won't take long. You have to get out of business because the devaluation that comes with our currency as Africans, it's hitting us so hard that businesses find it very difficult to survive because of the high rise of prices of almost everything that you go to buy and come and sell. So the African economy is so volatile that there is no cushion to it. We are left to our own fate to do business. The government tries to do what they can, but looks like they are not getting grip of what the problem really is. But if you come to the world of Bitcoin, you realize that, or what I have observed so far, is that Bitcoin actually give you some level of stability when you even convert your local currency into Bitcoin. No matter how the Bitcoin fluctuates, our exchange rate, it's always is cushioning even that of the fluctuation. Because the dollar is always performing better than our currency. So even if I store Bitcoin and I am ready to actually trade with it or go buy stuff with it, and I still I don't have it again, you will see that the money that I have, the value actually would not appreciate, but it will rather depreciate because I have exchanged the Bitcoin that I have. But if I have the Bitcoin and I want to even exchange it for dollar, before converting the dollar even into our local currency, I have a two gain there. Like there's two win situations for me. The value of Bitcoin actually has that weight, and the exchange rate of the foreign currency also, it's always it's having a major performance against our currency. So holding Bitcoin, it's always a win-win situation when you come to Africa.
Gotcha. Wow, that's very interesting.
Yes.
So I was thinking about I was in this Bitcoin space with Bitcoin Ubuntu, and we were discussing about if the global system is designed to keep developing countries remaining the same, right? Because in the end we never see that a developing country becomes a developing one, because the rules of the games are made to remain the same, right? There are not opportunity in the fiat system. That's why are you saying right now with these examples that you're sharing with us. So do you think the same for Africa? Do you think is the global system designed to keep Africa from emerging? And how do you think that a global scale in Africa, Bitcoin can change this conversation?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, so what has been happening to us in Africa is that our mindset also is a problem. We have a mindset problem as well.
Okay.
We don't do things to push, to also just compete on a global stage. but we come with a reservation. And when we are criticized for what we do, the level of quality of what we are having in putting it forth, the bureaucracy that we go through, even with our own people, to get to that standard becomes frustrating. So you see that it is not the global space that is actually hampering us, but we are not pushing enough. But again, if we have the opportunity for a Bitcoin given that global space, just like the rule of the game when it comes to the fiat system, there are people who knows how to keep the game like at a level that you don't go above some threshold. So, but Bitcoin actually could come in, or coming in, not defining a border to like those who even want to do business in the Bitcoin space. I believe working on the human resource that we have as Africans, if we can commit a lot to it, so that our thinking level also gets to the height that you don't just take word for word, but you go beyond the words to like take actions. You will get setback, things will happen, but you need to get back to it again. There are people out there that would actually give you a room to like do what you have to do and make that impact. And any impact that you make sometimes and mostly would translate into your finances being good enough. And that is what I have seen so far, even within the space of the of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Personally, I've been doing what my other colleagues in the space of training youth that I've also done, and they were able to get funding in the global space. And if you see the impact that they do make, it's not that much, but they get enough. I'm only opportune to like get that from Bitcoin at this time, and I'm using that to like actually reform my community, children, teenagers. I'm making sure they have the kind of today's world IT system through the help of Bitcoin to actually develop themselves, not to compete just at the local level, but what is being done out there. We have smart kids that could, when they are being trained well, they will pick whatsoever it is and also begin to compete at the global stage.
Yeah.
So I don't really see that the Westerners actually were the ones sitting on us. But we even need to explore our own space even in the first place before trying to say someone is sitting on us. So we have a lot to do. And if we do it and actually subdue our market in the first place, then we could talk of what other opportunities do we have out there that we can take advantage of. So I believe our problem mainly as Africans, it's our own selves first.
Okay. Let's talk about that. You talk about the community. That community is Bitcoin Duo that you're referring?
Yes.
Can you share a bit about that, how the idea started and what are you teaching to the kids so people know a bit more about this project? Please.
Thanks. It all started in 2005 when I completed my my senior high school. Then I realized that there are no means of working on the youth to like take up opportunities. So I spoke to a few friends that, wow, why don't we look at how to put young people together, and we should talk to some people who have specific talents to like work on these kids to see whether we can get somewhere with them. Because if our society remains dumb, or we are not doing anything different from what we keep doing every day, we cannot experience any kind of growth. but we will only be at one place, marking time and thinking we are progressing. So I put that forth and they bought into it, and we began to talk to some other people, begin to go to our local schools, talk to them about what we intend to do and how we intend to do it. So we began organizing normal quiz competitions for them with their academic curriculums that they have. Then we were also organizing tour to our various story centers for them, and that we believe is going to give them some kind of exposure and imbibe in them a confidence level that they can always use to navigate situations. So we had that successfully, and after we had those sessions, we began to actually call student seminars where we look at the corporate people that are coming from our community by heading corporations within the country. We organize them to come back, have a conversation with the young people that are in school, and tell them, give them hope that no matter how difficult it is, once you keep pestering, you keep pushing to do something different, it will definitely pay off. And they are the living examples that we even bring to them. So then we moved from that stage. Then there was a government structure, an IT center that the government was not using again. I used my personal money to renovate it. Then we began to work on the students again there until we had problem with the government. The local person that was managing the place have to push us out. Meanwhile, they were not using it for anything. So that made us to actually remain dormant again, because we needed that to begin to train in skills, soft skill acquisition that could actually change their story a bit. And once we couldn't do anything, we had to leave that space and waiting for a help from maybe God, who knows when it will come. Until 2022, when I had the opportunity to visit the conference, and I had an encounter with Herman Viva, and that is where our story all changed till today.
Oh wow, that's awesome. And but you say that the story changed. Why did it change? To better? I hope.
Yes, the story has changed to better, because when I got in touch with Herman, and he realized what we've been doing and our relationship with the people of the community, he realized what Bitcoin needed. Interacting with the community and empowering the community to do things that Bitcoin can help them do. Then we started mobilizing the community because we had resources that we can use. Because without resources, it would be very difficult for us to even call meetings or call gathering and do anything with them. You need to motivate them. You need to give them reason why they need to gather. And when we had our opportunity, we had some funding from Bitcoin Beach. And it was announced at the Adopting Bitcoin conference in South Africa, Cape Town. Then we had that funding. When we had it, quickly we did some spending with it. We pay our staffs and also try to get some laptops, used laptops. Then I got some support from Herman. Then also we had a Gaza fund set up that people actually also donated, and we used that to also continue the renovation work of the center that we currently have. So all those things came in, and luckily for us now, we have about 16 used laptops, which have so far we used within the space of 3 months. We are able to work on coding for development for young people, about 70 people so far. And we don't actually intend to stop there, because we are doing a robotics program with them, programming with them, where we want to see these young people begin to prototype projects. Then once we are in the Bitcoin space, we could talk to people that could help us to actually commercialize whatsoever that we want to do. And we want to do that to solve a local problems that we have. And doing that, we believe spread the news of Bitcoin, and our things that we'll be doing, whosoever wants to like buy it, our objective is the first price tag is Bitcoin price. So the story has changed so far for good. And as I said, impacting these young people, their parents are becoming more happier because we are doing everything for free. It's a community that is that people hardly like have enough to spare on their children's education. So we are coming in to provide something that is quite expensive to get, for them to be able to like just do what they can do, develop themselves, and at the end of the day become better off, and also look the world in the face to begin to compete at global level. So that has touched parents, that has touched even the young people. You see them when they close from school, they still rush back to the center to continue their studies. That tells that they have actually seen a change in themselves as to what they've been doing. So that is the story that has changed about that so far, and it's a positive story. And we said if we keep getting the support, it will be amazing what we would do with our space in a year that the Bitcoin community can actually be happy with.
Absolutely. And we have seen Bitcoin communities emerge from the ground, right? A good example is actually the Bitcoin beach in El Zonte in El Salvador. So I think that if we could do it, if we can do it, anyone can do it. But I'm interested in the community because, you know, in El Zonte, for people, the audience that don't know much about the Bitcoin beach, the short story is that it was a beach that it was just known for people that go to surf, but it was a poor area in El Salvador. You know, there was not infrastructure. It wasn't developed, and it was abandoned by the government. Not this government, but the previous one in the past. So way before making it Bitcoin legal tender in El Salvador, that's what I'm referring at. But they managed somehow to build this Bitcoin circular economy and not playing with the games of the fiat system, right? And that's how they, in similar ways that you're saying, they found a way to at least find a store of value and to have access to banking services without the need of the banks, right? Because you can have, most of the people have phones, and you can download a wallet, and then you can store the Bitcoin there, and then you can start sending and receiving Bitcoin, and that's how the circular economy starts, right? And I want to ask you about that. How is the context of those things in your community where you are doing these efforts? Most of the people have a phone, so they have access to download a wallet, and then, you know, where they can spend Bitcoin. And the other question is that how is this situation in the terms of having banks nearby you? Because at least in El Salvador, in the rural areas, the ones that are outside the cities, to go to a physical bank requires a lot of time, because you have to take a bus. And back then it was really dangerous, you know. Right now it's not dangerous, but it still is far. So you have to spend time, which is valuable because you can be doing something else like working. And with Bitcoin is instant, right? So instantly. So I want to ask you about how's the context of everything of those things there. Cuando dejas tus activos digitales en un exchange o en custodia de alguien más, te expones a riesgos de terceros no deseados. A diferencia del sistema bancario tradicional, Bitcoin te permite tomar el control total de tus fondos utilizando tus propias claves privadas. Esto te permite ser soberano y esencialmente tu propio banco. Al tomar el control de tus Bitcoins puedes evitar riesgos innecesarios de terceros. Almacenar tus Bitcoins en custodia de terceros como los exchanges puede exponerte a ataques de actores malintencionados, gobiernos o estafadores que lo único que quieren es apoderarse de tu dinero. El proceso de autocustodia puede parecer abrumador al principio, pero afortunadamente Blockstream Jade Wallet hace que sea súper fácil custodiar tus activos. Las billeteras de hardware son dispositivos que almacenan de forma segura las claves privadas de tus bitcoins y activos de Liquid sin conexión a internet. Las billeteras de hardware aumentan la seguridad de tu billetera porque tus claves privadas se almacenan en un dispositivo especializado que no está siempre conectado al internet. Como te he dicho antes, mantener tus claves almacenadas en un dispositivo en línea puede exponerte a factores adicionales de ataque, por lo que se recomienda usar una billetera de hardware al almacenar grandes cantidades de Bitcoin durante largos periodos de tiempo. Jade es una billetera de hardware no custodial para Bitcoins y Liquid que ofrece opciones de firma simple y firmas múltiples. Yo personalmente lo utilizo para almacenar mis Bitcoins, ya que me siento mucho más seguro manteniendo mis Bitcoins en una billetera fría que en una almacenada, por ejemplo, en mi teléfono. Si estás pensando en adquirir uno para ti, no olvides utilizar el código de descuento de nuestro show, BitCorner Podcast. De esta forma estarás apoyando directamente el show y además obtendrás un 10% de descuento para la compra de tu billetera fría. BitCorner Podcast es posible gracias a la ayuda de nuestros partners, así que hablemos de Adopting Bitcoin. Los próximos 15 y 16 de noviembre se celebrará la cuarta edición de Adopting Bitcoin en El Salvador. 2 días llenos de presentaciones, paneles, networking, además del mejor café del mundo. Usa el código HODLSV para obtener un 10% de descuento y experimenta la economía circular de Bitcoin visitando las mejores playas y montañas y probando las mejores pupusas en San Salvador.
So, thank you. I think, as you said, the story is similar here. We don't have a commercial bank around. We only have a rural bank that's the people who are even serving there, I strongly believe, are not even up to 10% of our population, because in the first place, somebody must have enough to keep in order to keep somewhere. And when you even have the money, what happens as well is that they are charging you to keep paying. So you don't come and you see that money appreciate. So people discourage themselves even in the first place, so that if I go waste time in the bank, and also at the end of the day, money that I put in the bank would also not or would just or even depreciate in value because they have to get charges.
Okay.
And people prefer to keep most of their cash. It's only those businesses that would always run to the bank and do that. So the Bitcoin, we are trying to bring it in or bringing it in. Feel like, okay, you can keep your money on a Bitcoin wallet. We have a mobile money penetration to be almost 80%, that almost everybody use mobile money services. And the difference that brings when it comes to adoption of Bitcoin is that once people understand even the mobile money system, it has not become difficult understanding the Bitcoin system, because even the wallets that we are using are so simple to understand and also simple to transact with. And that is what makes almost everything for now even a bit easier. But the confidence level as to whether if I put my money in Bitcoin on a wallet, would that not disappear at any time at all? That is the fear. Why that fear? Because our young people, in quest of looking for means of making ends meet, do get Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, do get coins from other alternative,
Okay.
other altcoins. And in those transactions, sometimes you have your wallet, you have coin on it. All of a sudden, you lose everything. Some are also trading it. As they are trading, all of a sudden, like they first ask people to bring money they want to trade for them. You take in the money, all of a sudden everything goes. So people become scared of the Bitcoin thing, because the people that are doing do not even know that they are dealing with
Gotcha.
just crypto, not Bitcoin. So if you are dealing with crypto and you face things like that, because they always use the name Bitcoin, it comes to confuse all of them. When you are talking about Bitcoin, they have experienced how people money got lost and all that. But our activity in a community, which is a constant and continuous activity, that parents, they are interacting with parents and their kids, and they are seeing the evidence of even the Bitcoin being a money that their kids can come back and even buy credit for their parents to make calls on it, and also go to some shop and buy items and bring back to the house. That actually, it's telling a different story when it comes to our community. So it's actually getting good. The education is what matters most. And once people have a fair idea about crypto and they all agree that the coins are good, but we only have to educate them to go for the right coin, which is the Bitcoin, and their monies will not just disappear anyhow, anytime. And that will make our community circular economy that we are building to be strong, to be reliable, to be trusted in all ways. And aside that, our physical interaction with our people of the community by spending, by also doing activities that actually opens them up, makes them to have a feel that Bitcoin is doing something here. It's actually the one bringing all the
Alright.
difference in here. So our community, as we said, as of El Zonte to Bitcoin Dwyer in Agbozma, I believe the stories may be the same, but just the people that are different, and we are given a different approach as to like how to deal with all that. And I strongly believe so far so good, starting at this time and making the impact that we are making now. At least for me, it's a good note, because when you go out now and you talk about Bitcoin or you talk about Bitcoin, people know that there is an activity going on in this very particular town that is backed by Bitcoin. And that is a good thing in spreading the news about Bitcoin and teaching them about Bitcoin. And we last 2 weeks,
Oh.
last 2 weeks, we graduated about 55 people with a Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin diploma course.
So you're part of.
So these are.
Oh, sorry. No, I was that. So you're actually a node from the mi primer Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin. That's.
Yes. We were granted the node this September, but we started a course before we applied, and we are given.
That's amazing. That's super cool. And I know that the Bitcoin diploma, it's super good. So congratulations on that, and that you're a node. So that's good.
Thank you.
Another thing that I want to know are about. So I know there are some Bitcoin services. I don't know how to call it, like companies or mostly services, I think, that are used in Africa mostly. One of them that I know is Machankura. So I want to know, and Fediment. I want to know what is your perception on how game changer can be dosed in Africa so far, or in the future in general, actually.
Okay. Thank you. You know, we have some good relationship so far with Machankura, and Machankura has also been supporting us. Fedi, we haven't had any
Okay.
relationship, and we haven't even met at any level to like have any form of conversation yet. But for Machankura, I think it's a game changer in even our community, as people use feature phone mostly than people that uses uh, the Android phones. So Machankura comes in to make every village believes that Bitcoin can be on feature phone and you can use it to even buy uh, mobile phone recharge that you may not have in the village, but you have to go far to get your phone recharge with credit to make calls. But if you have Bitcoin, you don't have to go through that
Uh-huh.
stress. You can easily buy mobile phone credit or recharge from Machankura through Bitrefill and use. So the very answer to fiat use is what Bitcoin is giving in the direct. We only need to push more to tell the story, to get more people to get to use it, and that is where the story itself changed. And if you see Machankura's innovation, it is only on Machankura that you buy the refill for now. But wallet of Satoshi, I use it to buy mobile phone credit before. There was another time I tried using it. I think I didn't get it right. But for Machankura, it is always working. And I went to Togo last. I wanted to try it to see. I wanted to see which of the wallets that are working in Togo. But I think for Togo, their policies are quite different. So things are a bit slow there. But I strongly believe when we started doing a partnership with the center, Togo Bitcoin community that is there, we would all begin to like work hand in hand to also make Bitcoin work in Togo well, because already they have political problems than we in Ghana. In Ghana, we run a liberal system, but they don't. So they need a Bitcoin more than anybody else within our southern sector here. So Bitcoin Machankura, I can say, is perfectly working and is something that is perfect that can change our story in adopting Bitcoin in Africa. That is a perfect model that we could use because of the phone that it works on
Because
and the application, how it is
yeah,
designed.
because
Yeah.
maybe for people that don't know, the context about Machankura is that you can transact, you can send and receive Bitcoin without the need of internet, right? You can do it with a mobile phone that is not
Yes.
actually a smartphone. It could be the most basic phone, right? That's how it works. That's how it makes it
Yes.
powerful.
Yes. So in Togo, I think if we have to push, Machankura can work more in Togo if the mobile network system can actually accept working with Machankura or working with that, because they as well have a bad internet system. I don't know whether that is in the whole country for them, but my internet experience at that place, it's not good enough. Yes. So that is why I tried to dial the Machankura code in Togo to see if I can open the Machankura wallet account for some people in Togo. But I realized it didn't work. So maybe there is something that needs to be done with the network,
Probably yes.
with the networks in Togo. Then probably maybe something can work out. And if we're able to break through the Togo, I believe It will do a lot of good, as in the kind of suppression that the people goes through. Some kind of liberation may come at the end of the day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
But Fedi, I can hardly talk about it because I haven't, as I said, I haven't delved into, and I've not had the opportunity to also have conversation with uh, their operations yet. But hopefully, I know we would have a conversation and see how it
Yeah.
works.
Actually, I met Ovi a couple days ago in a meetup. So yeah, I'm curious to. Well, we exchanged a bit of conversation about a lot of things in Africa, El Salvador, but it was just a short conversation. But hopefully, we will arrange a conversation here in the podcast after the conference that are coming. But yeah, I'm interested. What are the plans, the future plans, and then the expansion in Africa? Because I'm really interested to know about that. Right, I know that in some places it's working quite good, but I want to know like the perspective of how they want to implement it, because I also know that they have added the Bitcoin diploma into the app. So yeah, that's something that we will find out in the future, guys. um,
Okay, sure.
and all right, so I I mentioned you that there's this kind of game in the podcast where my previous guest have a question for you, and so you can answer it, and
Yeah.
then you can ask a question for my next guest. But before that, because I think we will start wrapper up at that point. But before that, you mentioned that you're doing like these robotic competitions, right? So a major robotic competition, and I also know that you mentioned it when we were start talking last week. So if you can explain a bit more about that, and how people can help you in to continue this developing in your community with Bitcoin Duo.
Okay. Thank you once again. As I said the last time, we are developing our young people in
Mm-hmm.
robotics. And what we have found interesting about the robotics to also stay on it is that we realize most of our subjects that we do in our schools here, the English, mathematics, and science,
Mm-hmm.
the various topics in school actually are the things that they use in robotics. So this is actually making our young people also understand the concept of the various subjects that is being taught in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going deep in it, and every year our in Ghana there is a robotics competition that they allow schools to actually present
Ah.
students to compete in the name of their schools, and whosoever wins at the country level goes to international robotics
Oh, that's
competition.
awesome. Keep going, please.
Yes. So once we are doing this, for us to test ourselves to see whether we are up there or whatsoever we are doing, it's yielding a result. We want to get ourselves into that competition next year.
Oh.
With the kids that are training with us, we will do that in the name of the various schools that they will be coming from. And those schools, I believe, are also going to be ambassadors of Bitcoin because all these things are riding on the shoulders of Bitcoin. And we have a policy to get into schools to have to chart a course of conversation on Bitcoin with them. So automatically, our plan, even shooting it from a distance, we are targeting the schools that we actually want to have that relationship with to build a Bitcoin conversation with them and also give them education. And this is also bringing the parents on board because every child that is being touched, their parents have shown appreciation and they are actually happy something like that is happening. So we need help in terms of people trying to get us robotic. If people get us robotic kits at different stages, at different level, we would so much love it, and we would as well be much glad to have anyone from any part of the world who can actually remodel us on the encoding, so that we can be well versed in all areas that can help us solve the deeper problems that we can solve, pushing Africa forward from that angle.
Okay, cool. So maybe when we finish the podcast, can you share with me a link where people can find you or be in contact with you? So I'll add it to the podcast notes. And so yeah, I think that's a way we can do it. And so yeah, so now this is the question from my previous guest. That it's Matt Hill. He is the CEO of Star9, and his question is,
I'd say, what about Bitcoin most excites you? Is it the technology, the political implications, the cultural implications? Why are you involved with Bitcoin? Or is it just the gains? What about it really gets you excited? If it's everything, then state the one that gets you the most excited.
Thank you. I think for now, what I know about Bitcoin and what makes me to believe in Bitcoin the most, it's the economic empowerment that it has brought to our people. If you are doing anything, everything, and you can't see that empowerment that propels a progress in whatsoever you are doing, you'll feel down, you'll be down, and you may not even want to actually feel that gratitude or feel any sense of belonging to such a thing. But Bitcoin had made me feel that special, because it has come to actually liberate my own self and liberating the community through me, as I just wanted it years ago. So it is the economic impact that it has actually or it is making in my community that makes the difference. The human impact, the human development impact that it is making, that is the awesome part that I actually become more happier with. So that is what excites me, the kind of change Bitcoin has brought into our lives as community.
absolutely, I totally agree with you. And I think that in the end, Bitcoin empowers people just by the fact that it's peer-to-peer, right? So no government can stop it. And actually, it's a tool that, for me, I always see it like we finally find an option where we can fight all the flaws that the fiat systems has, right? So I totally agree with you. Mawufemor, we're gonna start wrap it up. So it's something that I haven't asked you and you want to add. This is this is the space.
Okay, I think you've asked most of the questions that I could have answered, but I think the love shown in the Bitcoin community, I think, is amazing. They don't have to make you come like that formal. They don't. It's not as if they are looking for anything formal to see whether you have the capacity to do A, B, C, D before they begin to believe or trust you for what you can do. And that actually it's what brought the kind of hope that I had earlier, and I'm still having, and they have come to embolden that hope for me, that I'm continuing. And I think it's just amazing. I have committed myself to the Bitcoin course because my purpose was to liberate my community, and if Bitcoin has given me that and is continuing to give me that, I don't see which other purpose I should be living for again. So Bitcoin is my way, and I believe is the way to actually liberate our community entirely, and that is what I will be leading the church to do, and I won't relent on it. And I believe the Bitcoin community will be proud of Bitcoin Dua in Agbosme, just like the whole world is impressed and also satisfied with what El Salvador has done in El Zonte.
Absolutely. So I believe that what you're doing actually, and I mean by that it's a huge work, and I don't know how to express myself, but what I want to tell you is that keep doing it, because I know that there's an effort, but especially the young generation, the next generations are the ones that I do believe are the ones that are going to make the actual change, and the ones that are the ones that are actually gonna use Bitcoin as much as we use the internet, right? Because we use the internet without the need to know what is in the back, and we don't need to know the technical parts of it. We just use it for everything. So I know that in the future, and we're right now in that path of the Bitcoin adoption, that we will use and they will use Bitcoin without knowing the technical part, because it will evolve, and so it will be global. So what you're doing right now as the effort to educate, and to, I think also, because there's a lot of misconceptions, right, about Bitcoin, the effort to separate it from cryptos, and that's another thing that has the same flaws of the fiat system. That's a huge challenge, and that's why we're here, the educators, right? So congratulations on that, and keep doing the great work. And guys, if there's any way that you can help, I will leave again in the podcast notes the link. So Mawufemor, thank you for being on Bitcoiner podcast. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you too, and it's a great opportunity that you've given. And we so much appreciate it as a space, and we will always do what is right, even though we are human, but we believe a cause, and we'll just be on a course and make sure we deliver the greater good that we can.
Absolutely. So guys, see you next week. Ciao. See you for the next one. Ciao.